Hello dear viewers, thank you so much for following these special editions of African Morning Breakfast Show coming to you live right here on SABC. We move out from our studio and we're coming to you from Palm Africa in South Sudan capital Juba. My name is Majur Cholkor, and in these editions of African Morning Breakfast Show we are going to look into the young parliamentarians in the country and what they are doing to serve the country at their capacities as honorable members of parliament. And we're crossing out from the national capital to one of the states among the 10 states of the Republic of South Sudan, and that is going to Unity State, and we're going to have Honorable Nyakenya Johannes. She is one of the MPs in Unity State Parliament, and she's going to help us understand what she has been doing to be in the parliament in Unity State government, and also what she has been doing as one of the female MPs at the state level. Honorable Nyakenya, allow me to say it, I'm profoundly honored and exceedingly humbled to have this great opportunity to host you on SABC. Good mornings, and you're most welcome to African Morning Breakfast Show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for hosting me. It's a great privilege, and I really thank God for coming here, to share my story so that the community can also get to know who I am. I know a lot of young people have only been seeing me around, and maybe they don't know, they don't understand it at length, but I know the power of media is very important, and I believe it is going to expand, and give me visibility for the young people to also get to know what I do.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nyakenya. Now, before I might have not introduced you better, but we will get to know more about who you are by yourself to talk to the people of South Sudan on who you are. But before that, this is African Morning Breakfast Show, and as Africans, SABC program, we always have this culture of greeting people. So you're greeting to your fellow honorable members of parliament in Unity State and South Sudanese who are watching you.
Okay. So hello everyone. I would like to introduce myself to you. So my name is Nyakenya Johannes Keah, and I am a member of Unity State Legislative Assembly. And I was recently appointed to represent the Committee of Public Service, Labor and Human Resources. So that is what I represent in Unity State. Yes. So to tell you a little background about myself, I was born in a refugee camp in Kenya. That is Kakuma refugee camp. That is where I started my primary school. But a few years later, my family moved to Nairobi, and that is where I completed my primary school. I did my high school, and immediately after high school, things became difficult because in high school I was under a scholarship, that is with Kenya Education Fund, being the only South Sudanese at the time, and I was at a school called Jomo Kenyatta High School. So immediately after high school, I did not have the resources to join university direct. And word had it that there are job opportunities for young people in South Sudan. So I made a decision to come back home and look for a job in order to save for my university. And on the 6th of November, I remember very well, I landed in Juba. That is the 6th of November, 2017. And from that moment, I started looking for a job immediately. And 2 months later, I managed to secure myself an opportunity, a job opportunity with an NGO called UNIDO. And I worked as a gender-based violence project assistant, whereby I would go to the villages, to go and create awareness on gender-based violence, and also train these young women on how to deal with all these gender-based violence issues. So that is basically what I was doing. And my mission at that time was to definitely save. I had a focus, right? I saved for my university, and within the same year, that is 2018, I got an opportunity to go to Japan with a group of 20 South Sudanese youth. We were taken by JICA and UNITAR. If you've heard of like a program, it's more of an educational program whereby they train young South Sudanese on the recovery, because we had gone to war for a long time, And these people, you know, saw it that they can actually empower us so that we can know, you know, so that we can learn new ways of recovering, you know, the most that we have lost in this country. So
Yes, Honorable Nyakenya,
yes.
it is nice getting more about who you are and talking about your academic journey until you start working with an NGO. You know, NGO world is a world that everyone want to work with NGO.
Yes.
Now we are not talking with you as an NGO employee. You're a politician.
Yes.
How was it like when you were working for NGO, and how did you transit from NGO world to politics? What was so inspiring in politics?
Okay, you know, for me, politics, I just don't take it as politics. I believe it's leadership. And I have faith and I believe in myself so much that I am a born leader. Leadership is something that has been in me. So throughout my school, when I was in class 1, I started as a class prefect. And it went all the way to class 8, I became a school head girl, whereby you're just chosen by the students and they think you can do things, you can do it better. Same to high school, I became the school president. We normally used to call them president, that is the school head girl. And also in university, you know, so leadership has been an inborn. So for me, as I was telling you earlier, that I came to South Sudan because I didn't have school fees, that means I did not join university direct. So what happened, after, you know, managing to save something for my university, I went back to Kenya in 2019. And I enrolled at a university, which is Daystar University. And I enrolled for a Bachelor's of Science in Actuarial Science, that is majoring in mathematics and statistics. So I focused on it. It wasn't so easy, but I made it. So by the time I was in my 3rd year, that's when I got appointed. Because my matrimonial home saw to it that, you know, I'm a great woman. They saw talent in me. And of course, my father-in-law came and discussed it with me, and he asked if I was interested in leadership, politics of this nation. And I told him yes. Of course, I wasn't expecting it to come this sooner, because, you know, this is something I believed I would do even in future. I knew I was meant for greatness. I was born for greatness. And yes, the moment that was shared with me, I took it up positively, because for me, I don't joke with opportunities, especially when it's an opportunity that can change my life. So I took it up from there and I accepted. That is how I was appointed, because we work with appointments in this nation at the moment. We are yet to go for elections. So I accepted and I was appointed. I was still in my 3rd year by then, but of course I was still doing a lot of things in the community, you know, this community leadership, and a very active youth, just like any other youth out there, someone who's passionate about making it in life. I accepted and I was appointed on the 26th of November 2021. By then, I had completed 85% of my course. That is the actuarial science that I was pursuing in Daystar University. So that gave me an opportunity to come, because I talked to my school. I asked and I told them, here, I have an opportunity. I've been appointed as a member of parliament in my state, and I needed some help. So when they reviewed my academic background, they saw to it that, you know, I was actually one of the performing students. And so they held my hand and they walked me through that journey of transition. So my school decided that they'll give me the few remaining general courses online. So, and by the end of 2022, I had completed the whole course. So I'll be graduating on November 10th this year. Okay. And I'm welcoming all of you to also share the happiness.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations in advance. And now, when you were appointed, how was your feeling?
To be honest, I was very happy and excited. And you know, that one gave me so much encouragement and so much hope that, you know, the dream that I've always been wishing for, you know, the focus that I've always had, I felt like, you know, something good is coming out of it eventually. Of course, I did not imagine that it was going to come soon, just like I had told you earlier. I thought maybe it was going to take time, maybe after I graduate and do my master's and all that, but when it came as soon as this time, it gave me so much hope in our country because, young people are being incorporated into the leadership, which we were not expecting to come this sooner because of the clashes that were happening. And of course, I really thank my party, that is SPLM party, for believing in me, for believing that a young person like myself can actually lead in this nation.
Now let's cross to the parliament, where you are one of the MPs in Unity State. Since your appointment in 2021 until then, what have you seen to be different in politics when you are outside and when you are inside? So what is real about politics as a woman?
As a woman, to be honest, being in the political space of this nation as a woman is not as easy as, our male counterparts. Of course, you see, by then, the faces of women were not so many. It was only a few that we can count. But right now, the fact that they are encouraging us to come and empowering us, to come into these positions is something that is really nice. And for me, I've seen a big difference. I've seen a big difference because someone like me, I am an inspiration to the younger generation, the younger females, most especially. When they see me out there, they see someone who's great. And that comes with a lot of pressure. It is too much pressure because I have to do the right things at all times. And that is why I adopted a lot of, leadership characteristics, leadership skills that will lead me in the right way. And one of them is that I do what I do with a passion. That is my politics and my leadership, how I do my things. Even when I'm given an assignment, I put all my energy on it. And that means, when you do things with a passion, it means you love what you do and you do what you love. So for me, I believe I'm doing what I love, and that one is inspiring a lot of young people, and they admire me for that.
Nyakenya, yes. Let's find out from you, when you joined politics and you become Honorable Member of Parliament, yeah. What was the reaction from your family members and friends, your schoolmates, everyone who knows about you? What was the perception? What was the reaction exactly?
To be honest, it wasn't a surprise, like being honest, because like I told you before, I believe I'm a born leader. From my environment, from home. I'm this kind of a person who believes that justice should always be served at all times in our house. So when I even see people fighting, I'm the first person who will run there and sit you down, and I'll be like, let's discuss this. We cannot run away from issues. So that is leadership. When I became of age and I got to understand what leadership is, it really made me believe that, I was a born leader. And of course, it wasn't a surprise. Everybody was like, we knew it. Even my schoolmates, they were like, we knew it. We knew you were going to be a leader. Because every individual, sometimes you can be in a class. Let's say you might be performing better than me, and there's someone who's performing in a very poor way, but they are good at something. There's someone who's good at football, there's someone who's good at mathematics, there's someone who's good at something else. So for me, all my friends, my family, they've always believed in me. They've always believed that I am a potential leader, and I will one day become a great person. So it wasn't a surprise.
Now, let's find out, in the due course that you have been in this position as an MP in Unity State Government, in Parliament, what have you done for your country, for your state, and for the young women that are looking unto you as one of the MPs that is supposed to solve some part from the women perspective to the youth perspective, and also at the community level?
I'm inspiring a lot of youth. Inspiring people means you will participate in all the things that they do, right? And of course, I keep on encouraging those who feel less, because sometimes we have this issue, the issue of self-doubt. Sometimes you can doubt yourself, especially these young women. So for me, I have a mentorship group that I actually came up with my friend. Her name is Mary Nyiriak, and she's in the US currently, doing very well. So we came up with that even before I was appointed. So for me, I picked it up from there, and I was like, since I already have an opportunity, I have the platform, to make a difference. We normally have these mentorship programs that we do, that is privately. We've been doing them, and of course, a lot of young women have come out of that, and I've seen it, and very okay at their respective areas of specialization. They're doing well. So every time we encourage ourselves. That is one thing that I've also done. And also I've supported the government a lot, by volunteering. I know as a member of parliament, I am a lawmaker, right? And of course, so many people, young people have been seeing me doing the executive works. In most cases, they would even ask me, hey, why are you doing implementing? Because, implementation of these things is done by the executive, that is ministers and all that. So for me, I have been volunteering. Like the case of when war broke out in Sudan recently, of course our people are returning back because they find it very hard and very difficult. So I was among the first people who went to the front line to go and receive them in Unity State. We would go, we receive them, we distribute food items, non-food items, together with the Minister of Gender. So that is volunteering. Like, I did it out of my heart. And of course, I'm serving my nation. Right now that there's war in Sudan and our country is at peace, why can't we receive these people? I also was among the people, the committee that went to Rank recently to go and receive those people, and we loaded them in boats and we took them back home to Unity State. So I think that is among the few things that I believe is a breakthrough, something that I did out of heart, and I'm doing it for my government. And the faith that my government has in me, I have to work, I have to use my young energy, to serve my country.
Well, yeah. Honorables, looking at where we are right now, we are in Juba, and you came all the way from Unity State.
Yeah.
This will give to some South Sudanese a question like, is Honorable Nyakenya in Juba to lobby for national position?
Thank you for the question. In leadership or in everything that we do in life, whatever you are specialized in, even you as a journalist, of course you started somewhere. Like, there's a space where you started, you began from a very, low position, and you kept on climbing. So as for me, the opportunity was given to me to start from the grassroots, which is very important. For me, I'm very happy that I started there, because right now I'm understanding politics very well. I'm understanding the basis, how the community would react to certain things. So definitely, who wouldn't want to come to national parliament, national government as a whole? For me, I would love to do that and serve the entire country, because whatever I'm doing in Unity State, I'm not only doing it for the people of Unity, I'm doing it for the entire country. So for sure, I'm wishing and hoping that I'll come to the national government.
So the fact remains that you are not lobby, but if it happened by chance, you were welcoming.
Not by chance. We can't say things happen by chance. It is what you want, right? I believe the national platform, the national government is a larger platform.
Okay, by opportunity.
Unlike, not just opportunity. I believe my hard work will be identified with time, and then of course we are going to come. Inshallah, I believe in SPLM, and I know, SPLM has so much faith in this young person that they are, this young person that they are trying to nurture, because they are trying to nurture me, right? And then, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Nyakenya. And dear viewer, thank you so much for following African Morning Breakfast Show right here on SABC. We are talking about how Honorable Nyakenya became the Member of Parliament in Unity State, looking into her ambitions of how she joined politics and what she is still dreaming to be in the political career in the country. Let's have a break. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back, dear viewer. Thank you so much for continuing following these special editions of African Morning Breakfast Show, coming to you right here on SABC. As I stated earlier, we move out from our studio and we are coming to you from Palm Africa, one of the hotels in South Sudan capital, Juba. And with me is Honorable Nyakenya Johannes. She is an honorable member of Parliament in the State Legislative Assembly of Unity State. Honorable, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, as we went for a break, we were talking about what you're thinking to be at the national level. do you think that at your capacity being appointed in 2021 until now, that what you have done for Unity State peoples in the parliament is enough, that the government now of South Sudan, the government at the state level and the government at the national level should look into your effort and appreciate bringing you to join the women fighting for the same level of 35 affirmative actions, and also talking of 50-50 part of participations in the government leadership. So do you think now it is time for them to look into you?
Brother Majur, in life they say you should never grow tired of doing what is right. Never grow tired of doing what is good. For me, I believe whatever I'm doing in Unity State, the service that I'm giving to my community, I do it out of my heart, and I would never grow tired of working for my country and for my people in Unity State. So to answer your question, I would say it is never enough to work for your people. Your people will definitely want you, especially if you're doing great things, if you're inspiring them so much. They'll always want you to be there for them. But of course, everybody wants growth in life. You want to also feel encouraged when you go to the next level. You see, like if I come to the national government today, of course, I'll be learning so much that I didn't know, from my colleagues, in Unity. Of course, there are people from Warab, from Upper Nile, all these other states. Of course, I'll be able to interact with a lot of young people, and then I'll get to learn a lot from them. And that thing that I will have gotten from there, I'll take it back definitely home to Unity State. So even if I'm here, whatever benefit I get, it is for the people of Unity State. It is not only mine as a person. Of course, I'll grow as an individual, and of course, my people are going to benefit from it. And of course, if we are moved to the national political space, of course, other young people who are also starting will also be coming up from the grassroots. So of course,
so always it's good for the national government to look at the young members of government, either honorable members of parliament or any executives working somewhere in the government, to be promoted. If you're working at the state levels, you're supposed to at least be promoted to the national government, so that you give another chance for upcoming people to learn at the state level. Is that what you mean?
It is very important. That is exactly what I mean.
Now, we SBC have learned that that you are amongst the women who won an award, a recognition award, this year.
Yeah.
So, talk to us about that, and how did you achieve it?
Okay. So that award, I got it. I was recognized by Focus Africa Series. This is a platform for women, especially women leaders, emerging and leading women in Africa. So back in March, I was introduced to them by my friend, a friend of mine called Margaret. So Margaret introduced me to these people, and she said these people can really change your life in one way or another, because they'll expand, your visibility, not only to your country but to the entire Africa. So I looked at them, I looked at the activities, the things they've been doing, and I realized that these people have been bringing a lot of young leaders together through conferences. And they had one recently in June, of which I did not go, but of course I had applied, for that competition, because it's like a competition whereby you apply, you give them your activities, the things you've been doing, and what you're currently doing, and then they look into it, and when they see that you deserve the award, of course they'll give it to you, like they did. So I just found my name there. They were like, we've recognized you, and we believe that you're doing a good thing, a good job back in your country, South Sudan, and we are recognizing you. So that is all about Focus Africa. It's a very good platform for connectivity, because in life you have to surround yourself with the right people. And for sure, all the women in the political space in Africa and in the entire world, if you get to surround yourself with such people, of course it means you will be in the same table with them. And I believe that birds of a feather, they do what? They flock together. And, yeah.
So what are you envisioning in politics? If you look at the women participation in politics in the country, do you think at your personal capacity that there are some blockages that come your way as a woman? The way you're thinking, like maybe you want to achieve, for example, so when you join politics in 2021, maybe based on your appointment and the time you've been in the politics, do you think as a woman there are some blockages somewhere that the country, people around you, people around women, supposed to look into and solve them so that you and other young women in the country that are joining politics should not face the same issues?
Yes, you know, like I was saying earlier, you know, being a young woman in this political space in this country is not easy. Of course, there are a lot of things that prevent you from, you know, going up. And in most cases, it happens from both directions. Your fellow women can try to put you down in one way or another. And also, you know, our male counterparts can also do that in one way or another. Because, you know, there is something that has been there, you know, since, you know, the previous generations. Our forefathers, or maybe, you know, the community, our environment, our culture, doesn't believe in women too much as it believes in the male child. We've seen these cases whereby young women are being forced to marry, very young women. And if you try as a woman, you know, to intervene, it will be a big issue. They will say, because sometimes a lot of people say, you know, educated women or women in leadership, you know, are hard-headed, or, you know, they are not people with, how do I call it? People with integrity or people with substance. So whenever you try to intervene in such cases like forced marriages, it becomes a big problem. And of course, sometimes the community can just go silent on certain things, and it becomes difficult because for us women to be uplifted, remember we were at 20%, 25% until right now we are at 35%, right? So it has been very difficult for us women alone to come up, you know, without the support of our male counterparts. I'm not saying all of them are not doing the right thing. Of course, our male counterparts are trying so hard to also support us in these things. But of course, it's really difficult, to be honest. There are a lot of things that I might not mention at length right now, but we all know that.
Honorable Nyakenya, I want to ask you this question. You know, the country is now transiting from the current regimes of government to democratic leaderships in the country, where South Sudanese are waiting to see peaceful democratic general election by the end of December 2024. You are among the appointed MPs and other honorable members are appointed. What do you think is supposed to happen for the MPs in general election? Are you ready to campaign, and do you support your honorable MPs to go out and talk to the peoples at the constituencies? What is the best way to be an MP? Is it through appointment, or you think maybe when they go for election?
Of course, elections is always the best because we are a democratic Republic of South Sudan, right? Our leadership is a democratic leadership, right? So for me, I totally support the elections, but I will reserve my comments when it comes to when it should happen. Of course, there is power when you're elected. There is power that comes with it, because the only people who can take you out of that position is the community, the people who elected you. If they feel like you don't deserve to be there, they have all the right to say, we don't want this kind of a person. So for me, I'll reserve my comments on when the elections is going to happen. But to be honest, you know, we've just had our independence recently, right? You know, I moved around town, you know, just to see the mood of the people. And to be honest, I've seen that South Sudanese really want change. People are yearning for change. People are ready, you know, to take up, you know, anything that is presented, anything that is a right practice. Remember, it's been 12 years, and the government has been trying so hard, you know, to make things right. It has been trying so hard. Of course, we've been having our ups and downs. You know, we've been going to war several times. It was barely 2 years into the gaining our independence. And of course, we cannot blame the country. We cannot blame the leadership, because, to be honest, I always relate independence, to a child, because when a baby is born, in most cases, they always say it is easier to carry that child in the belly for 9 months and give birth to that child in one day than to raise that baby until they become of age. As a parent, as a sister, as a guardian, it is up to you to hold that child by the hand and nurture them. You raise them until you release it to the world. And of course, there are so many risks. That is a risk. Same to our country. We got the independence. We went down, we went back to war. We tried to rekindle everything again. We went back, which is very okay. Every country that needs freedom, that is what exactly happened.
Honorable Nyakenya, I want to take you back to Unity State, where you are currently serving as Honorable Member of Parliament. What do you say about the government of Unity State in terms of women participation and how they recognize the efforts of women in the leadership compared to what you maybe have experienced from the national government? Because what we have seen here at the national level, in Juba in particular, when you go to different forums, you'll find that women are still complaining that they're still looking for women presentation in the government. Is that still the same in Unity State right now, that women maybe they are still complaining about their representations?
Women representation in the government platform in Unity State is actually not badly off. We are, I think that 35% is represented, to be honest, fully represented. But of course, we cannot stop complaining because we want more of us to also come up. You get, we want it to be at 50-50 at some point, So right now we cannot say it's 100%, but to be honest, truly the government of Unity State under the leadership of Dr. Joseph Mwintwil is doing a great job in encouraging and empowering young women. Not only young women, even those elderly women that have been in politics since those days. So the government of Unity State is doing its best.
What are the positions you think that women are supposed to be given that are not given to women right now?
Not given to women right now? What position have women not served in? There are many, but we are slowly getting there. There are many. You want me to mention? Oh God.
Now you are in MP, and you cannot complain without knowing what you're complaining for.
No, qualifications is what will be considered. Qualification is what should be considered. So, and I believe there are a lot of young women and older women out there that are qualified for many positions: Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Education, all these ministries. I believe there are women who are qualified for them. So,
if women are given enough position to lead in the government, how should South Sudan look like?
Women power. Women, let me tell you the truth. When a woman decides to do something, they do it with all their energy. They do it with a passion. They do it with all their hearts, right? We all know that, even from our individual families. When a woman is given a responsibility, they do it with all of their hearts. So for me, I believe women can actually bring a great change in this nation. I'm not saying men are less. I'm not saying men are not doing it. Of course, they are putting their efforts forth. But of course, women can even do much better. You try us.
Honorable Nyakenya, if you are moved out from Unity State Parliament and you are brought to the regional parliament or any institutions at the national level, what do you think you can deliver to the people of South Sudan?
What do you think I can deliver to the people of South Sudan? You try me. Let the government try me, and you will see. Of course, I'm looking at it. When you're focused and you believe in yourself too much, there's nothing you cannot do in this life, in general. So they said, a winner today is a loser of yesterday who never gave up. So for me, I don't believe in giving up. Of course, if I'm given a new task, it will be difficult at the beginning. I will have some ups and downs, but eventually I'll get it.
What do you tell to young women that fear politics and now you in politics? What do you think is good about politics if women join politics?
You know what I should tell young women? I should just tell them not to fear, not to doubt themselves. There's nothing hard about politics. Politics is just the way of life, just as you live in your house, as you're growing up with your siblings. That is how politics is. It's not any different, and they should not fear it. They should not fear you know, all these condemnations from the society and all that. Politics is good, politics is beautiful. Politics will liberate you from a lot of things because it will give you a chance and an opportunity to fight for your rights out there. So for me, I'm encouraging as many young women as possible to come and join us. You know, we need to fight this fight together so that we can fully, you know, have control of our rights, you know.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nyakenya, for having your time to come for this interview on SABC. Finally, what could be your message to South Sudanese following and our viewers of this program, and also your fellow MPs in Unity State that are saying yes, Honorable Nyakenya visited Juba and she appears on the national television and talking about unity and South Sudan. So your message to them?
What I would like to tell the viewers and everybody, all the people of South Sudan, I would like to tell, especially the youth, I would like to tell you that you keep believing in yourself. Do not doubt yourself. Just keep having a passion in whatever that you do. Make sure you stay true to your principles. Make sure you do the right practices at all times, and make sure you surround yourself with the right people. And our country will be great again. So that's all I can say for now. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And dear viewer, thank you so much for following this special edition of African Morning Breakfast Show right here on SABC. We have been talking about the political journey of Honorable Nyakenya Johannes. She is Honorable Member of Parliament in Unity State Legislative Assembly, and she is right here in Juba for other official duties of the state and also for herself. And for me, Majur Cholkor, and my colleague in the technical team, we do say thank you so much for following these editions of African Morning Breakfast Show. And once again, Honorable Nyakenya, thank you so much for having your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.